remember as a kid growing up and I would shoot hoops by myself. I love doing that and still do. I am dating myself here, but in 1998, I would be at the playground while wearing my Discman, which would always skip if I jumped and ran around too hard. Kids these days have no idea how good they have it. And I imagined that I was playing for the New York Knicks. In this sequence, I had an internal timer that counted down from 10. 10, 9, 8. I dribble between my legs, fake left, and move to my right. 7, 6, 5. Throw up a quick pump fake. 4, 3. Throw my shot up from the elbow over a leaping imaginary defender. 2, 1. Nothing but an unsatisfying clank off the rim. I'd rinse and repeat that until I made the winning shot and then celebrated with an imaginary Spike Lee on the sideline. Now, the picture I am trying to paint is that it's very hard to hit game winners. Even the guys who are known as clutch miss way more than they make it. For all of you watching at home, the top 3 players with the most game-winning buzzer beaters in history are Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Joe Johnson. And for the record, LeBron comes in at number 4 for all time, and is number 1 with most playoff buzzer beaters. But in recent history, even though he doesn't have as many buzzer beaters as the legends it just mentioned, his game winners, clutch time prowess, and buzzer beaters aren't just vicious, but they are and were soul-sucking for the other teams, as both came in the playoffs, which ended the series in such a dramatic fashion that it looked like it could have only been scripted. So if you are wondering, yes, there are more guys that have hit more buzzer beaters than Dame, but Damian Lillard is one of the most clutch guys in the NBA. And yes, there is a distinct difference between being clutch and ending games or seasons with buzzer beater shots, because the game isn't won in the final shot. Okay, technically it is, but really it's won 5 minutes prior to the end of each half. But before we start scratching the surface of Dame Dalla's clutch gene, please remember that if you've enjoyed the video thus far and can't wait to see some of the ways that Damian Lillard has broken other players and franchises' hearts, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button and make sure to tell your friends and family about the journey we are about to embark on. Now, let's dive a bit deeper. Crunch time is a defining moment for a player and organization. And by NBA standards, crunch time is the final 5 minutes or overtime of a close game for a team either ahead or behind by 5 or fewer points. This is where Lillard has excelled more than most and what earned him his lucrative contract so late in games. He is the man who you want to have the ball. These moments are how he also got his name Dame Time. The reason for this is because when the game is on the line and the pressure is mounting, he makes it look so easy. Therefore, instead of him being great at crunch time, he owns the time, which is now Dame Time. And after he does his business, he starts walking off the court, most of the time with a straight face while pointing to his wrist as if to say, it's Dame Time. How is this for a staggering stat? In his career, and this number will keep on changing because he's just too cold, Lillard has made 44 of 114 shots, not including 2020, that fall in the clutch time, aka Dame Time category. With this all outlined, let's take a walk down memory lane to revisit Dame's 3 most exciting and jaw-dropping clutch time shots and buzzer beaters. It's important to note that there may be some I shouldn't keep off this list, or you think are more important, but with that said, there were almost 20 to choose from. The first was in December of 2018 versus the Golden State Warriors. I chose this one because it is the Warriors, and they've been pulling the rug from under everyone in the NBA for 6 years. So when it came to give a little revenge to them, Dame didn't fail. After a quick turnover, and in the eye of Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard hit a big 3 from the right side with 5 seconds left in overtime. This shot wasn't just big because of who was against it, and whom he shot it over, but the game was in Oakland, where it's not only tough to win, but damn near impossible late in the game with those fans screaming and breathing down your neck. Portland won the game 110-109 and helped boost them further up the NBA playoff seeding, but unfortunately later that season, some of Dame's key teammates fell to injury, which ultimately doomed their season. The second biggest buzzer beater / clutch shot / soul crusher came in May of 2014 in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. There were 0.9 seconds left on the clock, and the Blazers were down 98-96 to the Houston Rockets. Houston at the time had the Harden and Dwight Howard experiment going. This game is in Portland, so the crowd and energy are on their side, but the outside shot wasn't good to them because Portland didn't make one in the entire fourth quarter up until that point. But it didn't matter, because it was Dame time. After a quick inbound pass to Lillard, He did not hesitate. He caught, jumped up, and shot the ball over a flying defender. And from deep in three-point territory on the left side of the floor, Damian Lillard knocked out an unbelievable shot. It wasn't only the first outside shot in the fourth. It wasn't only a buzzer beater. It wasn't only in the playoffs versus an old foe, but it was a shot that ended the series and the season for the Houston Rockets. Lastly, the best buzzer beater / clutch shot / jaw-dropping shot from Dame time came not too long ago. In April of 2019, the Portland Trail Blazers were playing the OKC Thunder with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. The Blazers were up 3-1 in the series, and at the time there was a few seconds left on the clock. Lillard rocked Paul George, a fantastic defender by the way that keeps getting buzzer beaters shot over him, back and forth, and he was deep in the 35-40-foot three-point area. Dame, with 2 seconds left, had the audacity to do a step back and fire up a three with Paul George draped all over him. Well, if you haven't guessed it by now, he drained that shot to give Rip City a 118-115 point win. And just like the Houston playoff series that I previously spoke about, Dame time came out and wrecked an entire franchise. Just like his shot ripped apart the Dwight and Harden experiment, Dame's shot ripped apart the Russell Westbrook and Paul George era prematurely as well. In this game, Damian Lillard also has scored the second highest amount of points for a player in a single game, with their buzzer beater, which was 50. Gilbert Arenas only tops his stat with 51. Like it was said before, his shots aren't only game winners, series wreckers, and career-elevating shots, but they are so powerful that they end up dismantling the teams he beat. They don't call him Logo Lillard for nothing, folks. His long-range, homing missile shots from just over half court are a strong and legitimate part of his catalog of weapons. If you don't pick the man up as soon as he is crossing the half-court line, you are already playing with fire. Once he crosses that line, it's Dame time. Damian Dame Time Lillard isn't only a superstar with ice in his veins, he is an ice-cold murderer on the court with no regard. And lastly, it is important to note that Damian Lillard has provided 2 of the 5 playoff series clinching buzzer beaters in NBA history. 1 man, 2 series ending buzzer beaters in history, man, myth, legend, Dame time.